You are listening to Beyond the Verse, a Star Citizen podcast. A show dedicated to Cloud Imperium games, Star Citizen, and Squadron 42. Whether you fight, explore, unite, and/or trade, we bring you news, updates, interviews, reviews, and analysis. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a pour of Radegast, and join us as we go Beyond the Verse.
Launch sequence activated.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Beyond the Verse, a Star Citizen podcast. I'm your host, Sulyce. Today's episode is number 81. We're calling The Waiting Game. On today's episode, segments include 4.0, what was announced to be in it and what is actually out for future or subsequent patches, the road to IAE or the 324.2 alpha or 3 or whatever the heck they're calling them now, to the IAE preview. We're going to get into some of the best practices, what to look forward to in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We do need to address the RSI Galaxy Clarification. That was a major topic of last week's episode with Space Tomato, so I do want to go through those. And because of a major announcement or because of a huge pivot, me and Space Tomato intended to go through the LTI updates and the AI Blade updates, but we never got to it. So I'm going to take us through that so we're all caught up on previous week's worth of news, and then we will end with the Galactapedia update. It's been kind of a slower week, so I suspect that today's episode is going to be on the shorter side, but it gives us time to kind of catch up. So again, 2 weeks ago, we had polls and comments that, from the community, we always do, and we just didn't get around to it because, again, last week's episode was what it was. And if you haven't actually listened to that episode, it's number 2 on our list of most listened to podcasts already in just 1 week. So we covered some amazing material. Obviously, Space Tomato is always a major asset, a good friend of ours, major asset to the show. You're going to enjoy that episode, so go back and listen to episode 80. So before we do, I hope this finds everybody well. How was y'all's Halloween? Last night, ours was great. You guys know I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, so we're in that exciting time where the kids actually care about dressing up and walking around and getting candy. So my son was this inflatable dinosaur, and my daughter was a princess from the Descendants movies from I guess Disney. So they enjoyed themselves. I enjoyed it as much as as a father can. But then afterwards, this is kind of cool. Afterwards, some friends had come over and we watched Silent Hill, the original, the first one. And that's based off a video game, so I think it's kind of applicable to today's show, maybe. But it's one of my old time go-tos. It's not the best scary movie ever, but it is one of those cult classics, or at least I would call it that. It's very unique. It has an awesome feel to it. But it's now November 1st, and so it hits really quickly. So Halloween happens. It's always like the end of the first month of Q4. I don't know. It's one way of looking at it. But then November 1st hits, and you're like, holy crap! We have 60 days until the new year, and then you start playing into what else is coming down the pipeline. Like, we're 4 days away from a major American election. We will never get into politics, but that's happening, and we need to prepare ourselves for the drama that comes with it. So yay, Tuesday. So we have that coming up. Next weekend, my brother and I are doing our annual trip to the Bourbon Trail. So we're going to go to Kentucky. We're going to make our stops at some distilleries, but then it's Thanksgiving, into the December holidays, and into New Year. And on the Star Citizen side, we've got IAE 2954, which is arguably one of the most engaging and exciting times in Star Citizen. So that's going to be interesting. Into Luminalia, which is their December holiday event. And there's a lot coming, guys. There's a lot coming. The Polaris, that's coming down the pipeline. The Intrepid is going to be a December ship. I think the Guardian, I know there's a couple of other ships that they hinted to. Maybe the Medical Terrapin. Actually don't know this to be true, but I know for a fact we're getting the Polaris and a couple of other ships, between now and the start of the year. A lot is happening in 60 days. There you go. So again, I hope this finds you well. Let me know in the comment section how your holiday was. I love Halloween. This is my favorite time of the year, favorite 3 months of the year. So much to get into.
Incoming message.
All right, we got some work to do. We got some catching up to do. So last week, again, we got totally sidetracked by the news that dropped. So we are going to, and again, that's like the Galaxy not being able to base build, but now it can. And we'll get into the clarification here in the next couple of minutes. But we weren't able to go through from the community. And so let's go back 2 episodes to episode 79, sharing my screen for those of you on YouTube. The question was asked, the poll was asked, what is your preferred manner to watch CitizenCon 2954 virtually? So if you weren't there in person, how do you like watching it? Do you like it when you're watching it through a streamer and they have their commentary and etc.? Or do you go straight to the Star Citizen streams? Or do you just not really care about watching it live and then you'd rather watch replays afterwards or even read tweets about it? What's your best or what's your most preferred method? And so here you go. Here's the responses, right? So straight from CIG streams is 45.5%, through content creators is 36.4%, afterwards through replays 18.2%, and nobody voted for don't watch, that they read afterwards. I think this is pretty, for me, it's very much aligned. I would rather go straight to the source. I don't necessarily want to hear a content creator's commentary and bias throughout the entire event, but that is a personal preference. I know a lot of people, a lot of people follow me and Beyond the Verse because they like the commentary, they like the discussion. So I also get that as well. Comment section, let's go. So 6 comments. We're going to go through somewhat quickly. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time going through each one of these, but I want to give you all the respect that I promised you all. So 12J Result. Hey man, you are quickly becoming a Friday tradition. Thanks for the consistency. Go Terrapin. I will always like, and whatever this heart thing is, I'll always like those posts. It means a lot to me. Your feedback is, again, why I do what I do. So don't know about the Go Terrapin piece. I'm actually really excited about the medical version of the Terrapin. I think that is something I can get behind because there's a game loop for it and it has a purpose. So I'm actually looking forward to the medical Terrapin as well. Bravo One writes, probably the best CitizenCon. So much to choose from. That is a favorite. I have to say I love the base building segment, but I also love the tech segment talking about how graphics, lights, and sounds have been upgraded. We are getting biomes. Everything about this sitcom was great. Squadron 42 gameplay. It looked beautiful. Player built space stations. Big hype. Dakota Riley writes, CitizenCon was amazing. There are way too many things to discuss here, but base building, org tools, and the high-level overview of what 1.0 should encompass, the things that excite me the most. I even managed to order some merch, you and me both, and get new ships. I'm hyped for the new Pioneer, and I can't believe it, and so many other big ships are coming in the next year. Also, crafting ships up to and including the Bengal. I hope that is the only way to get a Bengal carrier. Yeah, like if they offer some of the space whales like $10,000 to pledge for a Bengal, or $5,000 or whatever, however much they're going to push out for it, or they would push out for it. Yeah, it's going to kill it for me. Like give the community something to actually strive for. I agree with that sentiment. Jason Funk writes, first CitizenCon, though thought my wallet would be safe, but they got me with the dang Starlancer Max. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the weekend streams. I also got myself a Starlancer Max, and I am looking forward to that dropping here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. All right, we've got Groza, which is, again, Groza, your name, your username is a bunch of numbers. It's so confusing. But all right, the Carapin. What up? I need help with my fleet situation. I've got way too many CCUs. I literally have a chain up to an A2, and like I don't even really want an A2 anymore. I need to book a consultation with you and Disowned as IAE approaches. I've been obsessed with LTI and CCUs for so long. I'm ready to be converted into a store credit Chad. Groza. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with this, and we will get into some of the LTI impacts and some of the IAE preview comments here in the next couple of minutes or couple segments. But LTI is changing a little bit. I think it still will drive a lot of decision making in the pledge store. But IAE, I have a method. It's not the best method. It's not the most, cost savings method, but it's the most peaceful method of how to handle Star Citizen. And we'll get into that when we cross the LTI notes. And last, Sean, I think that the new Squadron 42 isn't yet ready for full release, but it may be by November or December. So Sean, full respect, full transparency, I actually don't know what you're talking about here. So I don't know if you sent this before watching CitizenCon, but Squadron 42, was accredited or is planned to release in 2026, so in the next 2 years. So yeah, it's absolutely not ready for full release. So I don't know if you meant Squadron 42 or if you meant like Pyro not being ready before November, December. But yeah, Squadron 42 is 2026, and with the new roadmap update, we are very sure that 4.0 is going to drop before the turn of the year, but it's going to be missing a lot of its features. So that was from 2 episodes ago. Let's go into last episode. So we're kind of getting caught up to this point. All right. I messed up this question. So the question was, did you purchase one or more of the ships released at CitizenCon? Select all that apply. And I did not turn on the option to allow you to select all that apply. So whoops. So the options were the Argo CSV, the MISC Starlancer Max, the MISC Starlancer TAC, nothing, but you're going to be waiting for IAE, or nothing and you're just not going to be. You don't like the ship selection. And so you're only able to select one, unfortunately. But a tie with 38.5% going to both no, but waiting for IAE, and no and will not be. And then you've got 15.4% saying the Argo CSV SM, and then 7.7% saying the MISC Starlancer Max. Nobody said the MISC Starlancer TAC. My advice, unless, and this goes for literally everything all year round, unless there is a time-sensitive special, like the Starlancer Max's CitizenCon paint, like that was the only time that you were going to be able to get that paint or the livery. Wait until IAE, or if it's a military ship, wait until Invictus launch week. Every ship's going to be on sale. The insurance is going to be, at the very least, it's going to be 120 months. That's 10 years. 10 years is lifetime insurance for some of us old farts, right? So wait until Invictus launch week, wait until IAE, then spend your money. So I can actually agree with the no's here. But I did get a Starlancer Max because of the CitizenCon paint that came with it. So to the comment section, here we go. We got 4. Dakota Riley. The Galaxy LTI and AI Blades drama this week was a roller coaster. Isn't expecting after CitizenCon. Also, I can't select all that apply in the poll because I bought all 3 in an LTI raft pack with a CSVSM. I hate 324.2 being so broken this week, but it was surprisingly good last night for us going cave exploring. CitizenCon was so amazing, and I have so many ideas around base building. I also hope the Bengal carrier isn't sold and only achieved by crafting. Overall, a good CitizenCon other than Squadron 42 dropping in 2026. Yeah, we're going to go through all of that. The Galaxy LTI and AI Blades. We will be going through that in the next couple of minutes. Bravo 1, I have to agree with Dakota. Overall, I'm saddened that 324.2 is being a pain in the ass. I'm hoping they can get a solid fix for those that are struggling on being able to play. Other than that, I have to say I'm excited for what's to come. I'm excited for IAE and to see what the store has to offer that I may be able to add to my fleet to be beneficial to the other org members. I still have yet to get to explore the new caves and get some exploration screen captures yet. So the other day, maybe yesterday, 2 days ago, I attempted to find some of the acidic caves. So on, not Reddit, on Spectrum. On Spectrum, there's some forums that have the locations and how to get to them. So going to Ariel or Hurston and going to a location nearby that you can fast travel to, but then finding an azimuth and going to find the cave, the entrance to the cave, is almost damn near impossible. Now, I was in an RSI Zeus CL, so maybe it's different ship to ship, but for me, the compass, the new HUD, right, that's in front of you while you fly, it is very difficult to find which azimuth you're on. Like if you had to go, I think mine was like 232 degrees for 12.5 kilometers. That's actually really hard to do now with a new HUD. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Are you able to do it? Because I'm not. Maybe I just suck. I think we know that I suck at flying, but but for me, just trying to fly from like it was like a cargo center or a distribution center. So distribution center, find 232 degrees azimuth and fly 12.5K. That's very hard to do. So I haven't been able to find the acidic caves either. You and me both, buddy. Scoob, back to the comments. Scoob says, "Heyo, just wanted to start off by saying that I love your podcast, and it really helps me throughout my work week, but getting to Star Citizen, I've been a backer since 2018, and I love and hate the game like all good SC backers, but seeing them grow and make new tech along the way, I've gained a better understanding of what they're doing, and as for 324.2, it was expected to be kinds of broken, because CIG made it very clear that it was meant to help iron out for 4.0, so when they release it, it's good." Yes. We will talk plenty about 4.0 in the next minute. And then last, Groza. Do you think we have free will, or is it determinism? Or is determinism true? I ask because I feel like I'm going to buy an Idris Warbond against my own will at IAE. Love, Groza. Yeah, dude, I can't help you there. I am not the person to ask about saving money and not spending it against your free will. You'll probably end up with an Idris Warbond, and that is a $1,700 ship. I'm pretty sure it's around that price point, but get it. I really do believe that we're closer to the Idris than the launch of Squadron 42 in 2026. Again, it's the one promise that the community seems to believe from CIG, and that blows my mind. Hey, they're not going to release it until Squadron 42. They said it's not going to come out until Squadron 42. That's the promise that you're going to hang your hat on? Of all the promises broken by CIG, like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to, I call it a money grab. I want to be respectful. I don't think there's malintent with launching the Idris, but that is a huge profit opportunity for Star Citizen. Why wait 2 years when the ship is basically ready? We need 4.0, we need server meshing, but once server meshing is good to go, release the Idris. Right? It's going to have its own server, right? So when you're able to mesh those servers together, you can fly in an Idris. Why wait 2 years? Make money off of it in the next 2 years. Just saying. Last but not least, we actually do have... It's asking for my credentials again. That happened last episode. Here we go. Boopity boop. Back to the emails. Again, I need to be careful because I want to save... I don't want to dox anybody, but here we go. We got memes from the SC meme team. SC memes. Yeah, Star Citizen meme lord. Here we go. I'm gonna go through these. I told you I would share anything and everything I got, pending any sort of, obviously like cultural issues. But this mentions Greasy Khaleesi, a favorite of ours in Soul Provision. We love the entertainment that Greasy Khaleesi brings. If you don't know who he is, who they are, actually, I don't know anything about them at all. But if you follow them on social media, it is actually quite hilarious to watch them go back and forth with other content creators. Now, again, I have a dark sense of humor. I love the debates. I love when things get heated for no apparent reason. And so here you go. This is a meme that depicts the situation. So things happen in Star Citizen. Everybody has like their opinions. And then you've got good old Greasy Khaleesi that just goes against the grain. And I think we can all appreciate that. Next photo. Next photo. So this kind of is IAE related, but we got, a highway and an off ramp. So melting ships and using store credit on the main highway, but a turn off for war bond with LTI. Again, this makes a lot more sense if you're watching on YouTube or watching on Spotify video. But this plays into what I was talking about earlier with Groza and his questions about LTI and kind of how to focus on IAE. I'm going to let this one sit. We're going to let it cook. I'll talk about it more later. And then last, we got Bernie Sanders here talking about Chris Roberts. So Chris Roberts at IE 2954. I once again ask you to give me more money. I love the memes. I do. And again, I don't care about sharing that information. Enjoy it as I do. Again, that's my sense of humor. Bear with me. All right, we're about 20 minutes into the show. We're getting into This Week in Star Citizen. Let me share my screen for everybody. We're going to read the article, and then we're going to get hot and heavy into previous news and the 4.0 news. Here we go. In the verse, may your day be of the Vara be delightfully dark, and for those celebrating on Earth, have a hauntingly happy Halloween. Can you believe it's already been a week since CitizenCon 2954? For those who couldn't make it to Manchester or want to revisit the highlights, we've now uploaded all presentations to our YouTube channel in 4K, complete with thematic timestamps for easy navigation. Last week brought a wave of updates on the build front. The team rolled out hotfixes to boost Alpha 324.2's stability and performance, and the PTU servers open up for all waves to dig into Alpha 324.3. While we're seeing some progress with the current live build, our team is diving deeper to identify and address lingering issues. Huge thanks to each of you for jumping in to participate and supporting our bug smashers with your issue council reports. On the 4.0 front, we took another step forward with a new Alpha 4.0 build test on the EPTU. That's the Evocati. While we saw the Evocati jump smoothly between Stanton and Pyro, the test also provided us with the valuable insights that will help us strengthen base stability. More focused tests to come as we iron out kinks and push forwards towards live release. Meanwhile, the Day of the Var festivities are building to a bloody climax. That's gross. And we're challenging you to grab your carving knives and paintbrushes. You have until Friday, November 1st, literally today, which is 1 p.m. Pacific, to impress or shock our jury with your submission to the pumpkin decorating contest. And then from Xylo, this is my favorite holiday of the year, bring on the pumpkins. All right, so this week, bullet points. Nothing happened on Monday. Tuesday was a lore post to the Galactapedia update, which we will end the podcast reading through because we have the time. Wednesday is the namesake for today's show. So today's podcast is called The Waiting Game, Roadmap Update, Roadmap Roundup Hit, and you either are happy or you're not. We'll get into that very shortly. And then, of course, the RSI Weekly newsletter for Friday. Yes. So much to unpack for this week. Let's talk real quick about the patches. The 324.2 alpha, and .3. So a little bit of whiplash in the community where they were talking 324.3 was going to be the IAE patch that was going to go into the PTU for us to see the signage, for them to introduce the arena, the future ships, the Polaris, etc. So they were going to get into that, and they started to. They originally released 324.3 into the PTU without all of that, without the expo, without the ships. But there was so much, and we talked about it on last week's episode. There was so much on fire with the live .2 build and the PTU.3 build that they had to have an interim, like a middle patch of all hotfixes and all bugs. So enter 324.2 alpha. That's currently been replaced in the PTU. Sorry, that's replacing 324.3 into the PTU. So .2 alpha is currently in the PTU being tested with all the hotfixes, all the bug fixes, which hopefully will allow this game to be playable. If you're late to the game and you're trying to play catch up, 324.2 was the 4.0 build without server meshing, so it's new coding. Everything's new, so the house is on fire. and they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to prevent 318 from happening again. And I know no one likes me referencing 318. It's a lot different from 318. I get it. But I think the sentiment is very similar, that if you can't get into the game and play it, what's the point of being here? And so we're almost at that point. So 324.2 and 324.3 is very unplayable. Enter .2 alpha. And so they're trying to make it right. Patience. We're waiting on the patches to work. We're waiting on a stable game. So I just, after reading This Week in Star Citizen, after all the mentions of the dots, the 324s, the 4s, the .2 alpha 3, it gets really kind of confusing after a while. So I just wanted to clarify that. Let's go 2 weeks ago. So let's go into the LTI notes. Actually, we're going to start with the clarification. So we're going to clarify the RSI Galaxy first, because again, me and Space Tomato went pretty heavy on that. And so I want to clarify, and then we want to go to AI Blades, which is pretty short, and maybe it'll take a little bit longer, but we'll go through the LTI updates from Jared Huckabee. So, all right. I'm going to go a little bit into the history of this, but, again, about half an hour to an hour before last week's episode, me and Space Tomato are getting ready. We have our agenda. We know what we want to talk about. And then John Crew, nothing against the dude, but John Crew basically announces that a CitizenCon 2953 promise of the RSI Galaxy being able to base build was not going to happen. And so people were like, wow, breaking promises, like, can we trust anything? And so me and Space Tomato kind of leaned into that and kind of made that a running joke throughout the entire episode. Well, lo and behold, right after we were done recording, John Crew gets out and clarifies. So I owe it to my listeners. I'm doing my due diligence as a quote unquote journalist and providing you the latest. This is from John Crew, the latest. So you can see it on my screen. You can read it for yourself. Quote, "Hey everyone. I realize my previous comments may have given the wrong impression and I spoke too soon on this topic. I've since regrouped with a larger team to ensure we're fully aligned on the Galaxy's future. To clarify, while there's no base building module currently in active development for the Galaxy, we are fully committed to enabling a large base building drone module for it down the line. The Galaxy won't be the first ship for building large-scale structures when the base building launches, but will come soon after, and its potential for that role is very much intact. My earlier comment about when things are speculative was incorrect. We want to make sure that when we walk on stage during Inside Star Citizen or in any presentation, you can walk away feeling confident in the information we share. We'll share more information on this module as it becomes available. Thanks for all of the feedback, and I'll be monitoring threads closely if you have any more questions." Mad respect. First off, I don't think they had a choice. They needed to clarify, but mad respect for when you say something on a platform and you represent that platform and sometimes you get it wrong, have the courage and the tenacity to course correct, right? To admit that you made a mistake. I do it all the time. As a senior product manager at Amazon, I get a lot of things right, but sometimes I get things wrong. And it'll be an email blast on a global scale where Japan is waking up when I'm going to sleep and Japan's emailing me like, wait, what about XYZ? And I have to clarify myself. So mad respect, John Crew. Thank you for the clarification, but what a roller coaster. So the RSI Galaxy will be capable of base building, but it won't be the first large base builder. It's fine. A module will come out at some point. All is well in the world, I think. I don't know. You tell me. Listeners, viewers, you tell me. Are we still upset about the Galaxy or are we happy? I personally think we just basically did a mad reset. Like, we're back where we started. So, all right. So hopefully that clarifies things on the RSI Galaxy. AI Blades. Okay, so first off, what are AI Blades? So AI Blades are modules. I'm going to try to do this like I'm gonna try to get this right. All right, so AI blades are modules that automate ship functions, like turret control, navigation, but essentially it removes the need of having either player characters like your org members or NPCs, right? So it's a way to automate the functions of a ship. So it's great for solo players. I mean, even smaller crews, if it's like you and your brother or sister playing in a Polaris that's meant for 4 or 5, 6 people, it also is going to help that situation as well. But the twist here is that it's not going to be as effective as an NPC or as another player. And obviously you would hope so. I would hope that having a fully manned 890 jump with human players is going to be unstoppable compared to one person flying an 890 jump and having AI blades. So there's that piece. So schedule for 1.0, right? So it's not even happening between now and 1.0. It's going to be 1.0 and beyond. But I hope that clarifies things on what AI blades even are. So here is the article that kind of sparked the conversation. Not a debate, no drama. It was just something that was kind of hinted at during CitizenCon that I felt the need, and a lot of the community felt the need to kind of highlight. And so we got CIG here. I'm going to read directly from the article. It's a short one, but you can also see it on screen. To the article. Hey, so firstly, sorry for the slow response. I have unsurprisingly been very busy post-CitizenCon with 4.0 and Q1 initiatives. Secondly, I wanted to reassure everyone that AI blades are part of the 1.0 plan. They will not be as effective as other players, and they will take additional power to run. We will also be offering a way of upgrading them through tiers, but again, they will never be as good as a good player. Also, as AI blades provide most of the functionality, NPC crew will most likely be a post 1.0 plan. Break. So I think you need to know the difference. So AI blades automation, it's not NPC, it's not human players. But then you also have NPC integration, where you could staff your ship or hire NPCs, non-player characters, for your ships that are going to be a little bit better than AI blades. And that is further down the line, even beyond AI blades. To the article. As I said in the presentation, Star Citizen is a universe that caters to all players, and that most definitely includes solo players. As with all games, some things will be more suitable to solo than group play and vice versa. With that said, I better get back to work as I have 2 games to ship for you all. Cheers, Rich. So yeah, I mean, I think we covered all of it. There's really nothing else to harp on. Just knowing that AI blades, we absolutely need it. Like, not everybody has an org. I'm blessed with my 150 plus member org, so provision. We have it. We're good. Join our org. If you want a place to come, join our org, join an org. But for those individuals that just want to veg out, they just want to be by themselves, and that's fine. Like, that's how a lot of people survived COVID a couple of years ago, is just playing their games. If you just want that moment, like, you need to be able to fly these ships. And I think a person who only has 30 minutes a week to get in the game but owns an Idris should absolutely be able to fly and enjoy an Idris without coordinating a massive night of 50, 80 individuals. So AI blades and NPC crews are going to help that experience. So absolutely important. All right, let's keep this going. LTI notes. Good Lord. This was like drama that didn't need to be drama. And again, Jared Huckabee is the best at what he does. He is the best. Love him being the facilitator or the MC for the Master of Ceremonies for CitizenCon. He's a beloved member of CIG, obviously, but there was a lot of back and forth on this LTI piece, a lot of edits, a lot of corrections. And so I don't know, I don't really want to get into the drama because it was kind of self-inflicted, but I think it's clear now. 2 weeks removed. This was October 21st, so I guess about a week and a half removed. This has now been edited, it's been solidified. We're good with this information. So LTI, this has been a subject that has eluded most backers since they've joined the game. You know, you go to the pledge store, you've got like 3-month insurance, 6-month insurance, 120-month insurance, lifetime insurance. Like, okay, so what does it all mean? like what does that mean? Historically, you've got like speculation where it could mean XYZ when the game launches. But again, historically, it's been, can you claim your ship? Like, that's it. Like, it's been, it's been in alpha. So like, even like the 10-month insurance or 8-month, 6-month insurance, it hasn't started yet. The game's not out yet. But it's when the game launches, you will have 6 months to be able to destroy your ship and claim it. But it's always been this like really? So if I spend money, if I buy a ship with my personal money, $120 or $140 for a Cutlass Black package, are you telling me that I'm not going to be able to reclaim my ship if I don't have lifetime insurance in a year or 5 years? And so there's been this like weird conversation about how important is insurance. And CIG will come in from time to time. Usually it's around Invictus Launch Week and IAE, and they'll remind the community that, hey, insurance actually doesn't really matter that much. Don't concern yourselves. Don't prioritize your purchases based off of insurance. Like, it's always been this weird gray subject, right? A really fuzzy subject. And so I think this article, this discussion from Jared Huckabee kind of gets into what we can expect going into 1.0. Again, this is the plan for 1.0. Not now, not 4.0, not the path to 1.0. This is literally when 1.0 launches and beyond. So I'm going to read this. It's somewhat long, but I think it's super important. And I think it's a good preview into IAE. And I'll give kind of an IAE response at the end of this. But let's go through this. I'm not going to go with the bottom line on the front. Let's just go to the in-game purchased or created vehicles. In-game purchased or created vehicles. All right, point number 1, unchanged plan. You can choose to purchase, and again, guys, this is for in-game purchases. So you log into the game, you go to one of the stores, and you buy in the game. This is not Pledge Store. In-game purchases. Okay. Unchanged plan. You can choose to purchase insurance that will last for varying durations, just like it's always have supposed to, or just like it's always have supposed to. That's a weird, just like it's always have supposed to. Yeah, that's a poorly written sentence, but you can go into the game and purchase. All right. Unchanged plan. Level 1 is the chassis and original purchase included components only, and is the insurance that has always been offered since the project began. So level 1, chassis and components, original components. Unchanged plan number 3. If your vehicle is destroyed without insurance, it's lost forever. There will be ways to track its duration in game when the system is implemented, and a warning when you summon your vehicle if it's without active insurance. The choice to operate without insurance will be deliberate, very noticeable, and entirely yours. Okay, for the first change, future new additional option. Level 2 adds custom components covering the chassis. This is new and cool and especially important in a universe with massive crafting options and will be addable in game. So level 2, additional components or custom components. All right. Future new additional option. Level 3 adds coverage to all your upcoming ship decorations. It still includes the chassis and custom components, but now it adds ship decorations. All right, so new implementation. Just like in much of the real world, in Star Citizen 1.0, vehicle insurances at each level will pay out appropriate credit value for your destroyed vehicle chassis, components, and decorations instead of replacing your vehicle outright. I don't know if I understand the difference or the why. So you're flying your 400i. You have level 3 insurance and you blow it up. So your insurance will give you 35 million credits or whatever it is in game. It's going to give you 35 million credits for you to basically buy all of that back. Or why not just skip the step and just, I don't know. Is that a way if Is that a way if you destroy your 400i deliberately? Like, you know what? I actually don't like this ship. You know what? I don't like the Cutter Rambler. So I'm going to go and blow it up on purpose and get 125,000 UEC to spend on another ship. Like, maybe that's the purpose, but I don't necessarily know the additional step or why there'd be an additional step of like, okay, well, here's my money. Now I have to walk to the store to buy my Cutter Rambler replacement. Like, just give me the replacement back. I don't know how I feel about that. It's just it confuses me. All right, the next new implementation. There will also be a separate in-game earnable warranty that you can attach to any vehicle so that when it is destroyed and you have insurance, you will receive the covered assets back instead of the credits value. This is intended as a nice convenience so you don't have to go spending the time reacquiring anything, and these warranties will be things you can work towards to earn through gameplay if you are so inclined. So that kind of addresses my confusion. Like, warranty will automatically put everything back. It's kind of like what you currently have. You blow up your 400i, you blow up your Cutter Rambler, you just go back to the kiosk and hit claim. You have a claim time of a couple of hours maybe, or a couple minutes to a couple hours, and then it's back in your hangar. I think that's the warranty implementation. So anyways, okay, so that was all for in-game purchases. Now let's mentally pivot. The next piece of information is for buying ships through the website, the Pledge Store, which all of us have done. If you're listening to this podcast, you have spent money on an actual ship. I think this is more important. Okay. Number 1, all insurance will last for varying durations, just like it always has. Next, level 1 is chassis in the original purchase components, and is the insurance that has always been offered. So no changes there. No difference between in-game and Pledge Store purchases. All right, unchanged plan. If your vehicle is destroyed without insurance, the intention is that there will be an additional in-game cost to recovering it, but it remains on your account and accessible forever. But it's still going to have an additional in-game cost to recover it. There will be ways to track its duration in the game when the system is implemented, and a warning when you summon your vehicles. If it's without active insurance, the choice is yours. So this one is very dangerous because you have spent real money. I've spent $140 on a Cutlass Black, and this is saying if the insurance has run out, so the 6 months has run out on it and it blows up, I will always have access to it. I just now need to farm the money to be able to buy it back. I don't know. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? If you spent $140 and now it's gated behind, having to earn it back in game, is that right? It feels wrong to me. Again, it feels wrong. I don't know if it's legally wrong or I don't want to get any more emotional than that, but I don't know. It just feels. It feels like if I spend money on it, I should always have access to it. But all right. Next, unchanged plan and unique to website promotions. Lifetime duration means you never have to bother with renewing it in-game. All other durations are intended to be renewed through in-game means once the system is fully implemented. This has always been chassis and stock components, meaning it's level 1 insurance with a lifetime duration. So again, LTI has a purpose. You want to pursue LTI insured ships. My best advice is during IAE to get the Origin Jump Works pack. If you have the money for it, get the Origin Jump Works pack. It's something like 23 vehicles, right? So all the 3 series, the 100 series, the 300 series, the 400i, the 600, you have 2 of those. The 890 Jump comes with it. Like, you get a lot of LTI ships in that package. And all the Gs, the G1, G2, G3, right? You get a lot of ships inside of that package. So take those 23 or however many they are, take those 23 LTI ships and then spend the next year ship upgrading. So that way the LTI transfers to whatever ship that you want. That's my advice if LTI matters to you. But LTI will always matter because the duration means you never have to bother with renewing it in game. Okay. So future new additional option. Level 2 adds custom components to cover the chassis, and level 3 adds coverage to all your upcoming ship decorations. Okay, so we spent a lot of time on this. There's like a little summary, excuse me, there's a little summary that Jared writes. We'll just read through it really quick. But again, this is so important. I think this is very important going into IAE and how we look at ship buying. So the big difference between the two, regardless whether you have lifetime duration or 1 month to 10 years or anything else in between or beyond, if you have a vehicle attributed through the website, every one of them, regardless of its insurance duration, will also have an automatic permanent warranty that guarantees you will always get your chassis and stock components back instead of credits, provided you are also within the duration of your original insurance or have renewed it in game to keep it active or pay the additional premium costs to recovering it mentioned in my edit above. Put another way, you can never permanently lose your pledge ships. Okay. Good clarification, but I didn't really get that. I didn't think that it was said any other way. I think it's always been that way. And again, thanks for the clarification. If you add on to your level 1 insurance with level 2 or 3 in game, your permanent warranty will recover the custom components and in-vehicle decorations respectively instead of credits. This effectively means that there is no functional difference at all to the pledge insurance as you've always known it, but you will now benefit from the addition of new in-game add-ons that let you cover your custom components and decorations as well. So for me, this is important. I actually like going and shopping. It's, again, a simulation game for me. It's a simulation game. I like going from Space Station to, Crew L1 to, New Babbage, the stores over in New Babbage, to Orison, right? I love doing the little shopping around stand to outfit my ships. And the warranties allow you to do this once. Right, you go and you outfit like all of the, the power supplies, the shield generators. There's 6 to 10 components to some of these larger ships. It's nice to kind of just do it once. Go and shop, get your items, outfit your ship, and be done with it. So the warranty is going to matter for those who don't necessarily want to keep on doing it every single time you blow up, every time you run into an invisible asteroid. Right? What is the best way of getting everything back? And so there you go. Level 2, level 3, get your warranties done. Okay. The bottom line, once again, we'll end with this. This system is an evolution of our intended implementation, adding additional functionalities and comforts to our players while maintaining every functionality that has ever been detailed. Thanks for indulging my return to Spectrum. I'm going to go back to show prep after CitizenCon. See you all in the videos. All right. A long time spent on LTI, but I do think it's important. Get your origin pack of 23 ships with LTI. Do the ship upgrade game. Or my other advice, if you know that you're going to spend $3,000 on this game, go ahead and get yourself the Javelin. And then melt the shit out of it. Get the Javelin, melt it. You have $3,000 in store credit to buy all your other ships while they come out throughout the year. Play around with them, have a great time, and then once it's time for the Javelin to finally come out, you could melt everything and get your Javelin back and then earn the other ships in game. But that way it's a one-time pay of $3,000 and you never again had to spend another dollar in CIG. That's personally what I do. So I am the org leader. I own sole provision. My commitment to the org is to get all the org ships for you. And we literally have every single org ship from, I think, several Javelins at this point. But we have Javelins, both Idrises with the aftermarket kits. You name it. The Pioneer, right? We have the Pioneer. We even have like the Orion whenever that shit comes out. But the massive capital mining ship, like we've got it all. So that's been my commitment. So we have all of those, but I have very little small ships to fly. I'll get those in game. That's fine. But I've got all of those that are the whole E is another one. I have all of those massive ships that aren't out yet. I have them all melted in my buybacks. So I've been able to like live each year in and out of the pledge store, getting the Starlancer Max, getting all these other different ships. Excuse me. all these other different ships like the Zeus CL without ever spending an extra penny. Now, I've spent a lot up front, it's fair, but without spending an extra penny. So my advice, I don't play the CCU game. That's you're saving pennies on the dollar. I don't, and I know there's a few examples of saving $50, $100. There's a few of those examples, but for the most part, it's not worth the time, attention, the ups and downs, the pledge store increases, decreases. Playing that game for me personally, it's not worth it. I'm just gonna go ahead and put in my 3K or whatever, and then live off of that throughout the year. So, boom, IE preview, IE advice. Are we just now, like an hour into this episode, we're just now into this week. So, and there's really only one thing to discuss. So, one thing to discuss, and let's get into this. Okay. The waiting game. Roadmap update. And it starts off so happy Wednesday, everyone. Woo. And then they crush souls. So let's just go through this. I think there's some good. I think there's some good nuggets in here. Star Citizen 1.0 is now on the roadmap. Huge, right? Huge. The Polaris coming in 324.3 for IE. Huge. There's some really gold nuggets here. But the big debate is this the things being left out of 4.0. So here we go. Star Citizen 1.0. The following the reveal of Star Citizen 1.0 at CitizenCon 2954, we're excited to introduce a new addition to release view in the public roadmap. This column outlines the high-level objectives for the 1.0 persistent universe, offering a clear vision of where we're headed. While it's not a comprehensive list of every feature, it highlights the core goals that will shape the 1.0 experience. This new column represents our development journey towards 1.0, allowing us to continuously release features and content ahead of and leading into the official 1.0 launch. As features content are completed and ready for the next live patch, they'll migrate from the Star Citizen 1.0 column into a dedicated patch-specific column. This approach lets us deliver regular updates to live servers while giving you a clearer picture of what to expect from the 1.0 experience overall. Head over to the release view, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so let's talk about the fun stuff. The things added to the cards. So the following cards have been added to the Alpha 324 column, not 4.0, the 324 column of the release view. So you have the MISC Starlancer Max. Basically, you can expect these at IE. So the Starlancer Max, the Argos CSV, which is already out, the Polaris, RSI Polaris, the Anvil Hornet Tracker Mark II, the Anvil Hornet Ghost Mark II, Acidic Caves and Rock Caves are already out. Additional player customization is already out, and multi-tool updates. So, boom. Let's get excited about the Polaris. That's going to be huge. A lot of people are going to be enjoying and flying that during IAE. Yes, I have one. Soul Provision has several. It's going to be a fun ship to fly. But again, not to be like Debbie Downer over here, but you're going to enjoy it for a couple weeks and then, right, it's going to like fall flat. But it should buy us time between being able to fly in the Polaris and IE and all the fun stuff. It should be able to buy us time for when 4.0 drops. Speaking of 4.0. Upon review of the support required for server meshing, pyro, and general stability of 4.0, we made the choice to temporarily remove several deliverables from the 4.0 release to free up necessary engineering bandwidth to prepare for launch. This list includes engineering gameplay, life support, fire hazards and fire extinguishers, charge and drain, and transit refactor. We're aware that many of you are looking forward to these features, especially engineering gameplay, but rest assured that we're committed to pulling these back in as soon as possible. Meanwhile, several features that were planned for Alpha 4.0 have been pulled forward into Alpha 324.2, which such as the new vehicle HUDs and MFDs, network additional player customization, and the multi-tool updates, as those were far along enough for us to bring them to you all sooner rather than later. Additionally, the addition of Resource Network allowed us to partially deliver on some of the core engineering gameplay functionality in the form of the updated power management MFDs, with more to come. Therefore, the following cards have been removed from the Alpha 4.0 columns and will reappear in an incremental patch once we have more details on their timing. In short, so break from the article. In short, we are getting Pyro, basically the systems, and that's it. And I say that's it. I'm actually happy, and I'll get into that reaction in just a second. But we're losing all the features and gameplay that come with it. So we're losing life support, engineering, fire hazards, fire extinguisher, the solar burst, which is Pyro, the sun called Pyro. We're losing solar burst. That's gonna be a thing. Charge drain and transit system refactor. Okay. You know what? I'm going to pivot. So I had a poll. I asked a poll yesterday. I'm going to go straight to it. 3.7 thousand views, 606 votes. I asked, we would love to learn how you feel about yesterday's decision. Do you agree with CIG, or would you have preferred a different outcome? 61.1% agreed. Almost two-thirds of 606 individuals agreed with the decision. 21.6% would just postpone all. Don't give me anything. Don't give me the planets. Don't give me the system until it is all completely ready. 21.6%. 10.7% said, I don't care. Don't care about Pyro. I'd rather have a stable game here in Stanton. 10.7% just wanted to focus on Stanton. Forget Pyro. We're not ready for Pyro. And then 6.6% said other in the comment section. I love doing polls. I love hearing from the community. I think I am one voice. I like being a mouthpiece for a large portion of the community. So that's why I want to lead in with that. I'm in full agreement with that poll. Full agreement. I don't care about the gameplay. I know it's weird. Like, I'm a gamer and I don't care about the gameplay. Look, server meshing is the hurdle. It's the hurdle. And this is static server meshing. We still need to do dynamic server meshing. But server meshing is the technical hurdle that if we can get past, we can not only introduce Pyro and Castra and all the other different, systems, NICs. Not only can we get into those, we can also get into capital ships, the Idris, the Kraken, the Javelin, because those are going to require their own servers on a shard. So give me server meshing. I mean, hell, release just server meshing. Don't even give me Pyro or the system. I know it's like not a popular opinion, but let's get past the technical hurdle. Let's get server meshing, and then let's stabilize the damn thing, and then we can talk about features. So for me personally, game features are depriorities, or non-priorities. They're deprioritized for me. Don't care. I think it's sexy. I think the fire loops and the extinguisher and engineering, it's all cool. It's all fine. But I think it is so important for them to get Pyro, the system, something else to explore, new biomes or new planet systems, just the exploration alone, the cargo hauling alone, the current game loops alone inside of both Stanton and Pyro with the addition of the tech lift of server meshing. I think this is a no-brainer. Does it suck? Is it a bummer? Absolutely. Anybody who says otherwise is lying to you. Of course, they want everything, and they want everything now, and that's obvious. But I think IAE is going to be 324.3. Very shortly after that, at some point in December, we're going to have 4.0. And that's going to be what drives everybody into 2025. I'm happy with this decision. I would love to hear how you feel about this decision. We already know 606 of your opinions as the poll closed earlier this morning, but I would love to hear how you feel about it. Yeah, it's a waiting game. Yes, it's for 12 years. This game has been one wait after another, and a lot of people are giving up. I have a lot of people that follow Beyond the Verse on social media who have said on social media, I'm done with this game. I'll come back when it's, released. It's fine. I think the sentiment is understandable. Go do you. Get into No Man's Sky. Get into, another one of these games. Hang out. Don't come back until 2026 when Squadron 42 drops. I think this is all understandable. I do. But I also think that when Pyro does officially come out and we have server meshing and there's thousands of people on a shard, right? going back and forth between Stanton and Pyro and having org events that are mass scaled events, going through jump points for the first time, and again, doing cargo hauling and trade missions back and forth between two systems. I think this is enough. I do. I think this is enough to really buy us time going into next year. Now, who knows what next year brings? I maintain that we didn't learn shit about next year. We know about Squadron 42 in 2026. We know that base building is soon, trademark, but I don't know anything about the roadmap. Like roadmap in this sense of like not what they provide on CIG's website, but the roadmap is in like January through December, what is expected when. No idea. I can't tell you what's coming in Q1 of next year. So we're back at the waiting game, whatever that means to you. If you need to go and play a different game, or if you need to just have an outlet or just maybe stop gaming for a little bit, hang out in Soul Provision's Discord and just, be part of the community, that's fine. You're with a lot of similar like-minded individuals. Trust me. So how are you feeling about waiting? Let me know in the comment section. I want to hear it all. Last but not least, the Galactapedia updates. We're not going to read them. We just want to go through what this is about. So this month we finish our tour of the Soul system. Shout out to Soul Provision. Soul system. Explore the life of Michelle Selenio. Why does this... I don't feel like this is new. Is this new? I mean, it's October 2024. I feel like we've already had these, but all right. So the long article is based off the legendary pilot, Michelle Selenio. And then the short articles, we have Triton Charon. Why do I do this? Why do I even try to say these names? Triton Charon, INS Dunleavy, the TDD, Station Kestner, the Kuiper Belt. I don't know. UEE Calendar, the Omioshu Plague, the Shibanzu Plant, the Connor's Beard Moss, the Dakari, Degnus Root, Flare Weed, Hosanna Tree, Mazi, the Omphalotus Mushroom, good lord, Jinx Gen, Patambu, I'm done. You've got 10 you've got like 20 short articles and a long article. We're at the hour mark, so I want to be respectful of the podcast time, but this gives you something. I'm starting to, just full transparency, and my buddy Paul, the Astro Historian, is going to hate me for this. The lore piece I'm falling a little bit more out of because it is changing so much. I say so much. It has the potential of changing so much. So while they back in and out of like technical promises and store promises, like the lore can change too. So as much as I dive into it, as much as I do believe going and doing the time capsule walk, there's like a list of time capsules. If you listen to the first 20 or 30 episodes of this podcast, we went through those time capsules. I think that's important. I don't think that's going to change. So go and get really heavy into those. But as far as like staying on top of the planet systems and the lore thereof, like just take Levski, for instance, like the Nyx asteroid base or station, right? Like it was once in Stanton, sort of like it was once playable, and now it's in this like future Nyx belt. So like how that's written into lore, I'm sure Port Olisar is going to have some sort of narrative twist to it as well. So like things are evolving and things are changing. So it's not that I don't think it matters. It's just like putting a pause on some of the lore deep dives, as again, this has the potential of changing drastically. And I think Port Olisar is kind of a great example. You have this, it's now Seraphim Station, or at least it was before Seraphim Station. But yeah, Port Olisar, it was there, has its own lore right outside of Crusader, and now it's just gone. Okay. How? Why? Who did it? Where's it at now? Is it dunnage somewhere? Like, is it a crash site? Like, what's up? So, Anywho, all right, guys, we're here, November 1st. We got 60 more days. That's 9 more episodes of Beyond the Verse podcast between now and next year. I think the math plays out. I don't know. I'm tired at this point, but I'm looking forward to the next several weeks. I'm going to be recording a very special episode this Sunday night to air next Friday morning, so it'll be a weird kind of timing issue, but you don't want to miss that. It's going to be a very fun conversation among friends, a very different feel to the podcast, so stay tuned for that. We still have our murder mystery we need to do as a Soul Provision org. That's down the pipeline. We just got to find a stable state of the game to actually do it in, so really excited about that as well. More giveaways. It's going to be a fun next 2 months, so however this finds you, I hope it finds you well. If you want to become part of the conversation, you could do so by joining our social media. That's every social media platform /BTV_cast. YouTube video replays at YouTube @BTV_cast. You can join our in-game organization Soul Provision at www.robertspaceindustriescom/orgs/provision. Again, I hope this finds you well. I love every single one of y'all. Thank you so much for an amazing 81 episodes. Safe travels as you traverse Beyond the Verse. Take care, everybody.